Hi, I'm Johnny Davis from the HRH Empire, and you're tuned in to ramsine.co.uk.
Ramsine.co.uk. I'm at Hard Rock Hall and I'm with John, the promoter. How are you today?
I'm still alive. That's a good way to explain it. You all right?
Yeah, we're really good, thanks. So you've been quite busy today. You've been like off your feet a lot.
Yeah, we're always busy. You know, there's always things happening here. You know, the great thing about this thing here is we know everybody with first name terms virtually, so and they know us. So your mouth never seems to stop talking the whole time you're here. But that's the great thing about it. You know, here we've got a great circle of people who create what we probably class as the darkest rock and roll circle of camaraderie, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, what they're here for the music, they're here to meet like-minded people and have a great time, you know, and with that they get everything.
I mean, did you have any complications this year? Because there has been like flooding throughout the country. Have you had any pressures? Have you felt any strains at all?
Well, I mean, if I'm honest, the last 3 or 4 years there's been, you know, big freezes, there's been snowstorms, there's been floods, and I don't know why, and I keep touching wood if that's wood underneath me, but we've never seemed to have been affected, and we actually got here and everything was fine. And, you know, as you can see, yeah, we're in the winter because we're a winter festival, but, you know, it's a nice little atmosphere out there, you know, and the skies are clear, the sun's been out, no worries, no biggies.
So why do you hold Hard Rock Hall in the winter? Because festival season is usually classed between like the summer, and then there's just Hard Rock Hall on their own, just out in the winter. Is there a particular reason?
Well, everything I do, I actually do 4 festivals in the winter, you know. HRH is obviously December, then we do Hammerfest in March, and then we do the AOR and Prog one in April this year. But, you know, things that we do, what Chic Festival is all about is they're Europe's #1 festival organiser for residential boutique festivals. So we specialise in the 5,000 to 10,000 market, but all residential, where people can actually stay in things like comfortable units, you know, with central heating and plasma screens and all the luxuries you don't get when you're living in a tent, and it's weatherproof. You know, so if something's weatherproof, why not do it in the winter? You know, and I think some of the critics the first year turned and said, "Wow, campsite, winter," but you know what you're in a purpose-built entertainment centre. You know, we're all that accommodation right beside the arena, no restrictions in sound, no restrictions when you get to put a band on. We can put bands on at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning if I want. You know, as long as they're still standing, and that's what I like. I like to challenge the normal. Who's to say it's got to be in the summer? Who's to say it's got to be finished at 10, 11 o'clock at night? And the more people say that to me, the more I want to change it. You know, and that's why we started doing HRH, and you know, likewise, you know, the choice of bands that we've got come from the front line, the people that attend it, and that's why, you know, 88% of them or plus, you know, actually rebook right away. I mean, we put next year's HRH 7 on sale 3 days ago, and it's 75% booked. We've not even announced a band yet. You know, that's how bonkers the whole situation is. You know, so I've just kicked your camera. But you know, that's the challenge, you know, and you know, Hammerfest obviously the metal thing that we do, and AOR's AOR and Prog's Prog, but you know, we're a winter operation because in the summer we're in all different parts of the world doing other things.
Yeah. I noticed that when you buy a ticket, you obviously get a caravan. When you first started and you sort of put out that you get a caravan, you get somewhere to stay, you get accommodation with your ticket, how was the reaction to that? Were people sort of like, oh, it's not really a festival unless you've got a tent, or were people really open to it?
100% open to it. I mean, the year #1 we did in Minehead, where it was all sort of like chalets and apartments, you know, and then we moved to Pontins and Prestatyn, and this year, you know, we've moved to Halfpenny Moor, which, you know, Halfpenny Moor, it's like paradise in the seaside, it's Welsh translated, but these ain't caravans you used to remember. I mean, I remember caravans when I was like 20-year-old and things like that. It was all from the 60s and 70s. These are actually mobile homes in Wales, and they're actually very, very well kitted out. And, you know, if I'm honest, they're as good or better than most 3-4 star hotels in the UK, you know. I mean, some of them even better than that, you know. So, you know, here we've actually got caravans, we've got lodges, we've got apartments, you know. There is something there for everyone. And if you actually look at the age group that attends HRH, which is 18 to 73-ish, you know, people want different things. And you've got that choice here, and you've got that standard of delivery and that standard of quality. Everybody's going to be happy about it, you know.
Yeah. So what kind of age group do you think that our festival goers are? Because I know when I went a couple of years ago, I felt like I was one of the youngest people there. But now that I've come here today, I've seen a lot of younger people. Do you think like the bands that you supply are sort of more directed to the younger generation, or?
Not at all. We've got 73 bands here this weekend, which is a hell of a lot for a festival our size, you know what I mean? But if you actually sat down and put them all into different genres or part of the spectrum, you'll find that we actually cross everything, and that's the beauty of what we do, you know. This is all about the brand rather than the band. The bands are important, but they're just a part in the experience. So basically you come along here and you navigate your own musical destiny. Are people getting introduced at a younger age just now? Yes, they are, because a lot of the people that have been coming with us for 5 or 6 years are bringing their kids now, who've turned 18, 19, 20, 21, and we're getting new people coming into the conveyor belt here, you know. And obviously, if we're taking their votes from the front line saying this is who we want to play next year, then it's going to influence what we book, you know, but ultimately that's where it comes from.
So when you're booking your bands to play the festival, what kind of, what really inspires you? What are you looking for when you're looking at a band?
I only book what the people ask me to book. I turn the whole vote down to the customers. They turn around and they'll pick out 100, 120 bands. They'll all moan about it and, you know, argue about it, and then at the end of it say, right, this is 120 bands, and I go and pick 40, 50 of them. It's not rocket science, is it?
Nice and simple.
It's that simple. I'll add in some curveballs and I'll add in some new blood, because we always pay attention to new bands coming through. But we do that through the Highway to Hell competition, you know, where we always bring in 6 brand new bands every year, and they've done brilliant today. Put them on big stages, big sound, and they've got a great response.
Yeah. So if there's like a band that wanted to play, how would you sort of recommend that they went about going towards these competitions? Is there like a particular sort of guidelines to the competitions?
Sure. Basically, around about the country, we've got things called HRH chapters, which are sort of loyalty clubs and fan clubs, and they sit there getting CDs sent into them all year, and then they pick out the sort of top 10, 15 from each one of the chapters. We throw it into the middle, which will probably give us about 100, 150 bands, and then we'll let everybody vote. We then send them to our partners at Classic Rock, Metal Hammer and Planet Rock, and they put in some votes as well, and we come up with a final 24. That final 24 go to Glasgow. They go in front of 500 people for the Dark Circle, which is our loyalty club, and they vote them through to the final 6. All 6 of them get a slot. The winners get 3 slots, because they go to Hammerfest, Hard Rock Hell and something else in Ibiza, and the overall winners gets a worldwide record deal with Off Your Rocker Records, which is our label.
Wow, that's a very good competition.
It's a big prize.
Yeah.
It's a really big prize, you know, and they love it, you know. These people haven't played in front of crowds that size before, so, you know, it's something for them. And, you know, if they're good enough, you know, we've got our own agency, Chic Talent, they can go in that as well, so it's like a one-stop shop then, you know.
Yeah. It's very good that you do that, because a lot of bands don't really have the sort of money to go out and buy their own albums and like produce their own records.
My frustrations over the year is, if you're a new band trying to break through just now, it is virtually impossible, you know. You would need some bit of wizardry magic to actually make it, you know. However, the more people that pay attention to that, and the more channels that you can actually open up to make it accessible, and it's what I said before, you know, if somebody comes to us and they win a competition, I can offer them PR, I can offer them, you know, an agency, I can offer them management, we can offer them festivals, we can offer them marketing, we can offer them a record label. It's like a dream come true, you know, for a lot of people, and it's been an access thing for them, you know, and it's only been going up at 2 or 3 years on that side, and the labels have been going a year, but, you know, it's like even some of the guys that signed us, like Bonafide, we've had to rerun their album 3 times, we've sold it out 3 times over, and it's only been out since August. Yeah. Brilliant.
So in about 30 years time, who do you think is going to be like headlining our festivals? Because we've got classic bands like Def Leppard, we've got Iron Maiden, and that they're doing Download, we've got Rammstein obviously doing Download as well. Who do you think in 30 years time is going to be the #1 band at the top of the bill?
That's an interesting question, because, you know, one of my biggest frustrations is people in a lot of festivals keep booking the same bands and they keep swapping over every year, so naturally it becomes all about the band rather than the brand. And to me, you know, MD can open up a field and stick a stage on it and book the same bands on it, so to me it's not a lot of thought going into it, you know. However, people, you know, there's a place to market for it and people go and see it, you know. But, you know, it shouldn't all be about who's got the deepest pockets to actually create that, you know. I think, me personally, who's going to be on stage in 30 years' time? Probably the people my guys vote for, you know, because I don't have any. I don't have any say in it. If they want it, we go and get it. Simple. But it's an interesting question, because what the record industry has proved to itself right now is, if they don't get off the backsides and actually create another level of bands, who's actually broken through in the last 5 or 6 years to the next level? Shinedown, Airborne, Blackstone, Cherry. You can count them on, you know, 5 or 6 fingers. There's not enough. And realistically, those are the bands that are breaking through, will probably be headlining in 20, 30 years' time.
So what do you think about new bands coming out into the future? Do you think that there's going to be a big outburst in new bands in the next couple of years?
I hope so. You know, I'd like to think that we can help with things like that, and I think there's more people like ourselves that's going to take a proactive approach, then, you know, the future's bright. If they don't and it's all about the cash, then we're fucked.
Very good answer. So last question. It is really though, isn't it?
Beep.
I mean, Hard Rock Hell, every year it sells out, it gets bigger and bigger. Do you have any plans on making it even bigger than it is now?
That's it. It's finished. You know, here we're at maximum capacity. You know, we can obviously get a few extra people in some of the units we're here, but we're not going any bigger. This is it. You know, I don't want to be to a level where people stop knowing each other and things like that, 'cause it takes away the magic of what we're all about. You know, so realistically, this is our ideal size just now, and that's the way it's going to stay.
It's going to stay intimate.
Yeah, all the way. It's part of the credentials.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us today, John.
Anytime,
and
darling.
have a great festival. Make sure it doesn't get too...
You go out there, enjoy yourself though.
Yeah, we
Stop
will.
in the press room. Go out and enjoy it.
We will. We're going to go watch Sebastian Bach.
Do things.